Greetings from Vaishnavi. This talk is designed to act as a springboard for discussion of Kanyadaan. Yes, I'm going to talk about the profound themes of Kanyadaan by Vijay Tendulkar. Kanyadaan is derived from the word Kanyadana, which is made of the Sanskrit words Kanya, which means maiden, and Dana means giving away, referring to the tradition of a father giving his daughter in marriage to a groom, symbolizing the transfer of responsibility and care from one family to another. About the author Vijay Tendulkar. Vijay Tendulkar was a leading Indian playwright, movie and television writer, literary essayist, political journalist, and social commentator, primarily in Marathi. His Marathi plays established him as a writer of plays with contemporary, unconventional themes. He is best known for his plays Shantata. Vijay Tendulkar's seminal play Kanyadaan is the ruthless criticism of this caste-ridden Indian society. The play also obliquely hints at the pathetic condition of women in a patriarchal society. It also deals with the complexity of human relationships. Kanyadaan explores the texture of modernity and social change in India through marriage between two people of different caste and backgrounds. First caste theme is that of liberal hypocrisy of the upper caste. In the play, Seva, though being a women's rights activist who has worked for the downtrodden all her life, opposes Jyoti and Arun's marriage. The violence is generated in between Arun and Jyoti. Family is the place where the origin and form of aggression is found. Arun becomes too much aggressive with his wife Jyoti. There is a close relationship between intimacy and form of violent behavior which is found in the family. Violence reaches its greatest intensity at two opposite extremes. Males become the dominant aggressors in society. Generally, in the structure of family, men have certain rights upon women who make women to suppress. It is universal in the society, which makes it a patriarchal society. As an irresponsible father, Nath is really responsible as a social activist, but not as a father, because he took his own daughter's life to experiment that whether an intercaste marriage works or not. Later, in spite of the consequences faced by Jyoti, still Nath wanted to succeed in his experiment and never bothered to care about his own daughter, Jyoti. In the beginning of the play, Nath was really a responsible father as he gave the freedom to his daughter and let her make the decisions of her own life, in which he assures that he will be great support for her, no matter about the consequences, and later he only thinks as a social activist and not as a father. He never wanted the experiment Jyoti Arun's marriage life to fail, so he worked hardly for it. Also, Nath failed as an husband because he never heard of Seva's words when it comes to Jyoti's life. Nath later realizes that he made a wrong decision by seeing the condition of Jyoti. However, Nath doesn't admit that he is wrong. Then finally, he accepts his mistake and concluded that his experiment on Jyoti Arun's marriage, that is, intercaste marriage, failed. Even now he says, not all intercaste marriages results in failure. Many people live happily in society, but unfortunately, Jyoti's life experiment failed. Even here, he speaks as a social activist. He supported his son-in-law and encouraged him, but later he realized that it's all wrong and worries at the end. All humans make mistakes. What determines a person's character aren't the mistakes we make. It's how we take those mistakes and turn them into lessons rather than excuses. Where Nath, however, makes mistakes, realizes later and take it as lessons, whereas Arun makes mistakes and excuses himself and never realizes his own way. A strong political worker but worrisome mother. Seva, who is a mother of Jyoti and Jayaprakash, plays a significant role in the play of Kanyadaan. It's always that mother supports their children and worries every time about their future. The same happens in the play of Kanyadaan too. Seva, who is a strong political activist, but at the same time, she acts as an epitome of perfection as a mother. Mother is always a mother. Here, Jyoti takes her own decision in her life, but Seva says to rethink about it and doesn't want to proceed further. The fractured married life of Jyoti, as well as her acceptance of resilience, mirrors an Indian woman of 21st century. Jyoti is an example of sacrifice because she sacrifices her own life for Arun. Arun abuses Jyoti badly and he behaves very cruel to her. In spite of Jyoti's pregnancy, Arun beats Jyoti, which results in the internal bleeding of womb. Jyoti doesn't voice out even though her life is at risk and still chooses to stay with Arun. It depicts that she wanted to be independent and she doesn't need any help from anyone. Later, Jyoti's father realizes his mistake and makes an apology to his daughter. But as a daughter, she tries to figure out her dad's mind and understands him than anyone did. This is where she stands here as the best daughter. And after all, she chooses to live with Arun because Jyoti's perspectives are profoundly relatable and unimaginable. As a reader, we would exclaim that how could even a girl stay after all these incidents? But yeah, Jyoti's perspectives are completely different and unique. Normal women choose to leave, But great woman who experienced endless pain and suffering tries to figure out what's wrong and train themselves to cope with the environment and tries to make a change. That's what Jodhi did here. In spite of all the sufferings and pain that she suffered from, she tried to figure out who is Arun, what is he, why is he like this, and she trains herself to live with Arun. She trusts herself that she can make a change in Arun one day. Everyone's perspectives towards Arun are very bad, but on looking into Jodhi's perspectives towards Arun, she sees him completely different. She sees Arun as a lovely poet and at the same time a cruel monster. She saw the beast in his eyes, she saw the love in his writings. He is both a lovely one and a monster. The way he became monster is what the society did to him because he is a Dalit. He reflected it into Jyoti's life. This is where Jyoti began to understand what is life. Only at 20, she is living a real life, Jyoti commented. After all those tears and pain, she is strong enough to handle each and every problem. She is still learning a lot and can endure all the upcoming pain. Jyoti says she doesn't need the help of anybody, including her own family. She learned to be independent. She still says that Arun was there for her and she's not a widow. Just because someone hurts you doesn't mean you can simply stop loving them. It's not a person's actions that hurt the most, it's a love. If there was no love attached to the action, the pain would be little easier to bear. Human beings can never be flawless. Their decisions are at times wrong, but on the basis of those wrong decisions, the character of a human being cannot be assessed. Further, if a man repents on his wrong actions, he has to be forgiven. I would like to finish with the words saying that there is no such thing as bad people. We are all just people who sometimes do bad things or act bad according to the situation. Thank you.